I wanted to jump on here regardless of how all this is looking right now, and just kind of talk to you about the pros and cons of tape-ins, clip-ins, and beaded weft sew-ins. I don't really want to give prices on this video because every stylist is so different. Just know that the initial purchase of any permanent extensions or clip-ins is going to be expensive. You're spending hundreds of dollars for the hair itself and then another couple hundred at least to get them installed. Just talk to your local stylist, she'll give you a quote and you can go from there. Let's first talk about the pros and cons of tape-ins. So the tape-in pros is they do typically tend to be a cheaper install. Some of the pros, if you wear your hair down a lot, there's a lot more ability to get more coverage as opposed to a long weft. So that's why I liked them, because I wore my hair down a lot. So one of the cons is that after you get them installed, it's a lot of different spots on your head. These are all over your head. This is without new adhesive on it. These are just naturally how sticky they are. They're very sticky. And then they would place a piece of tape on each side of the sandwich. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to use the one sandwich together and try to explain it. So they take a very, very tiny section of hair, I don't know, a tiny section of hair. And they lay the first side under and allow that to adhere. And then they take the other piece on top of that and push them and sandwich them together. I hated washing my hair with these in. You have so many individual tiny pieces all over your scalp, and you're having to really get in between every single piece as you wash them. You can't wash your hair in too hot of water because you don't want the adhesive to start to break down. And it's just a lot of very tedious, work, okay? Another con was that I couldn't pull my hair up without working my tail off to hide the extension. Another con, and this also, as I spit, sorry about that. The adhesive, if you don't have good tape, it will start to break down. I use a round brush blow dryer. So I would get really close to the scalp and it would get too hot and it would start to break down the adhesive in my hair. I'd get this weird tacky feeling. And then you also have to be careful because if they start to break down, it starts to slip like that on your hair. Let's talk about beaded weft sew-ins. So that's what I have right now. They're quite natural looking for the most part. So I have 3 wefts in my hair. And this install process is like magic juju to me, but I have an idea of how it works. So you will take a very small section of hair across where you want the weft to be. You will then pull a tiny piece, place a bead, pull in another tiny piece, place another bead, and that process continues along the back side. They then take the weft and sew it with one of those curved needles, sew it onto there, tighten it, and it's not going anywhere, okay? Mine are quite grown out, but yeah. I really love these. There's a lot of pros to these for me, that it's much easier to wash. I have 3 pieces in, but I have whole sections of hair that don't have a weft in them. So I'm able to get a lot closer when I'm showering and like scrub my scalp, and it feels so good. And just really like take care of my scalp but you have to be very careful about the way you wash, because what you don't want to happen is to have this pull from your hair and your other hair get looped in, or to have pieces of the weft start to come out. Pieces of this cross part of your real hair to pull out of where they have beaded it. Another pro is that when it does tend to separate in that cowlick spot, you can tell it's a weft, okay? But unless you were standing right up on my scalp, it wouldn't be as noticeable as what the tape-ins are. I obviously love that they are permanent. I love that I can let them air dry. I love that they're easier to brush. I'm not hitting as many spots. One of the cons to the beaded weft extensions, I really don't have a lot of cons. It's just they're a little bit pricier for me. So if you're going to get permanent extensions, I'm obviously in favor of these. When you pull your hair up, They're like, I have a weft here and I have a weft here. So you can kind of see the beads here. All it takes is one little boop and it's gone. I can wear a super high ponytail, a super low ponytail. So if you switch a lot with wearing your hair down to wearing it up, beaded weft sew-ins are absolutely what I would recommend. I'm so glad that they were recommended to me because they're my favorite. Okay, let's move on to the clip-ins and then we'll talk a little bit about product. For the clip-ins, I just love that they're not permanent, which is funny because I love these because they are. They're not permanent. So where I live, it gets extremely, extremely hot, and having all this hair on your head can really just make you so hot. So I like the clip-ins because you can rock your like short, fun hair. When you're washing your scalp, you can really take care of your scalp. You can just take them out, wash really good, put them back in. There's not a lot of cons to clip-ins. It kind of just depends on what you want. The con that I would say is really just the matching part, especially if you have lighter colored hair or a very different color hair. It can be a little more difficult to match, but your stylist can still help you with clip-ins even though you don't have to have them install or anything. You can take them with you to your appointment, they can match them and be done. This is just kind of an overall recap of the different kinds of extensions. Some of the products that you're really gonna want is you're gonna want a hair oil. But it's called Love Oil. It's by Big Sexy Hair. And it is awesome. It smells amazing. You wanna put oil in your hair. I put it in as often as I can, to be honest with you. So that's Big Sexy. It's called Love Oil, okay? It's moisturizing, it smells amazing, it's just good. So really, there are a lot of different hair oils out there that you can use. If you don't have blonde hair, I don't think that this would be great because you do have to be careful because it can leave like a white residue. But with blonde hair, it's not that big of a deal. That is the Redken Deep Clean Dry Shampoo. It's awesome, smells so good. Just so you can kind of see, these are the extensions. And they're just, I mean, I just love them and they do look quite natural. Obviously you have to manipulate a little bit depending on how long your real hair is, but I do like them. Yeah, there you go. There's my recap. My super unorthodox, unprofessional recap. All right, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna scoot on out of here. Y'all take care now.